What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Bill's How To. Today I've got for you guys a review and demonstration of the Ryobi One Plus multi-tool. Let's do this. Alright guys, so today we've got the Ryobi One Plus multi-tool, which is part of the One Plus series. That means one battery can power over 125 individual tools, which is awesome in itself. Now Ryobi always gets one thing right, and that's the ergonomics and comfort of using their tools. So right here, very, very comfortable. It's extremely light and comfortable around the trigger point. As you can tell here, they've got the rubberized coating around there, so it's nice and grippy. Very, very light to use. I don't know the exact specs of how light this is, but I've got to be honest, look, I can pick it up with my pinky very, very easily with no weight whatsoever. So this is extremely light, even with the battery on there. We've got a little light on the top that turns on as you pull the trigger. It's fairly quiet, so it's not too noisy at all. The light could be better, to be honest. It could produce a lot more light. However, this one here just lights up the immediate area that you're working in, which does the job for now anyway. The difference between this one here and a Job Plus, which are very, very similar. The Job Plus is the P340, which basically has a detachable head. So that means you can press a button on the side, remove the head, and use different attachments. As far as I know, Ryobi don't make the attachments. You can get the attachments from Rigid or AEG or a few other brands out there also making attachments. The attachments are, for example, right angle drill, reciprocating saw, or a jigsaw. To be honest, I don't use any of those. I've got my individual tools for those separate tools. So for me, I just wanted to be able to use it as a multi-tool, which is this section right here. All it does is when you put the blade on top, it oscillates at 3 degrees. So it's got very, very little movement on the top like that. It's very safe to use. So long as you keep your finger away from the actual teeth of the blade itself, it's completely 100% safe to use. So extremely versatile tool. I'm finding new and better things to use this for every single day. I've had this for about 3 to 4 years now, working very, very well, and it's still a live tool today, using it on a regular basis. So what we've got here is some of the attachments that I would go through pretty much on a regular basis. So this one here is from PowerFit. It's got 12 pieces in the one kit. The reason why I always buy PowerFit is the price and value. Now, I don't really know if this one here is an international brand, so I'm not trying to promote it or anything like that, but this is what I go for here in Australia. It costs about $85. You get 12 pieces. I've been really tempted to buy the Bosch or Diablo sets. However, for the price, I can't justify it. The price on the Diablo ones, you get probably 4 attachments, and you'll pay about $120 for it. So here I get 12 attachments for $85. And if we have a look inside, we can see here the different attachments that it comes with. So I'm going to run through all of these attachments, show you guys what comes in this kit, and then we'll run through and show you guys just how well this works. So in this kit here, we've got 2 grout removal tools. You can see there it's got the diamond coating around the outside. We've got a 1/16 and a 1/8 of an inch. You can see this one here's already been used, and I'll show you guys what I use this one here for. Obviously removing grout, but I'll show you guys just how well this works. If anything, if I needed to just remove grout, I would buy this tool simply for removing grout alone. It works that well. Anyway, the next thing here, we've got 2 flush cut blades. So you can see there it's got the teeth on the top, and this allows you to cut through the majority of material. However, it doesn't cut through metal. These ones here are our metal bi-cut or bi-metal blades. They're a little bit larger. I tend to not use these two, to be honest, unless I've got a very, very small area that I need to cut out. And I tend to go to these 2 ones here all the time. So I'll show you guys what these ones here are capable of. We've got a triangular rasp, which is basically a diamond coating on the back of it. You can use this for any kind of coarse grinding or coarse sanding, which I don't really use, to be honest. I'll use a sander, or if I need to get anything out, I'll use a different type of object for that. This tool here, when you do buy it, also comes with a sanding pad, which isn't included in here, so you can use it as a sander. Then we've got 2 saws. We've got a fine tooth saw and a coarse tooth saw. So these ones here work really, really well. I'm going to show you guys what these ones here can do. And then lastly, we've got a scraping attachment. So anyway, guys, let's get straight into it. I'll show you guys what this tool is capable of. So the first attachment we're using is the flush cut, and I sometimes call it a plunge cut because that's what I use this tool for the most, plunging and flush cuts. This one is probably the most commonly used tool out there with a multi-tool today. So this one here is what most people tend to go for first. With the tool itself, we have to use an Allen key still to remove this or to loosen this off. But what I like about this is that it's 100% adjustable. So that doesn't mean that it only sits in one way up on top like this. That means that if you're working in a tight area, you can angle this off into any different direction. So if we needed to get the tool in to a nice tight area where it can't fit anymore, I can angle that blade off and allow it to get in there nice and easy. So like I said, we'll just click that in place up on top like this, tighten it back down, lock that in, and we're ready to go. So what we've got here is some hardwood timber flooring, okay? So what we're looking at doing here is shaving down the lip on the side. The reason why I'm looking at doing this is just to show you guys this is kind of an everyday kind of task that people would do. If you have to remove one piece of timber flooring or laminate flooring, when you tend to remove it, you can't get that one piece back in, and you'll have to shave this down. So you have to shave down the tongue or to be able to slot it in, and then use a bit of glue. So I'll show you guys what I mean. This little tongue right here, we can cut this off flush. And you can see just how much precision there is with this, and that's what I like about it so much. You can either continuously plunge it all the way down, or we can run it straight along like this. And you can see there I've got a nice perfect cut straight out of that. So another common task that I use a multi-tool for is removing decking. So a lot of times when you've got timber decking, you might have one piece that's completely rotted. You need to remove it, but the length of it might be about 3 meters or 4 meters long, and you don't want to remove the whole piece. So what we're doing is, if we wanted to cut one little section out of there, what we can do is use this tool to create a little plunge in that timber, and we can remove that through. So what I'm going to do is cut straight along this piece of timber here. Now this one here is hardwood timber also, so remembering obviously with your timber decking, it's a lot softer timber and it'll get through a lot easier. But in this case, we're just going to cut this straight along. I'm going to show you how easy this is to remove. And you can see there, once I remove it, it's got a nice clean cut, very, very easy. Now, like I said, most of the times I wouldn't be doing this on this kind of material. What I would be using it for is timber decking. Now, that is the easiest way to remove one little section of timber decking. Obviously, you can't fit your circular saw in there. It's very, very hard to get other kinds of tools in there to be able to cut that, just that little section out. So what I like to use is the multi-tool to do that job. So if we have a look here, we've got a piece of trim that's got a bit of an overhang off this piece of timber. What I like about this is that it enables you to get a flush cut. So what that means is, by putting the blade hard up against the surface here, we're able to just simply glide that along, and we can get a nice flush cut straight across this piece of timber right here. Now obviously this isn't a common task, but sometimes you do run into little projects where you might have to get a flush cut somewhere in a tight area. So once again, and you can see this material here is obviously a lot easier to cut through, so it's nice and easy. And once that's done, guys, we've got a perfect flush cut all the way through both materials. So another classic example is when you've got some architrave, some molding, trim, baseboard up against the wall, and you need to slot in a piece of tile underneath. Rather than cutting out the tile and having to cut that around the actual trim itself, you end up having an ugly looking grout line. What you can do instead is use the multi-tool to actually cut that flush down the bottom, and then we can slot that tile in. So what you do is just run the blade flush up against the tile, just like this. Once you're done, you can then remove that excess piece down the bottom. You get a nice little cut, and you can slot that tile straight underneath. So another awesome thing that this multi-tool can do is cut nails flush with whatever surface you've got. So we've got here a whole stack of nails. What have we got? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 nails. We're going to switch over the blade, over to the bimetal blade, and we're going to cut all these nails flush with the timber. So this time around, we've got the bimetal blade, and you can see the teeth are a lot smaller than the other blade. And that's how easy it is, guys, to remove 9 nails in probably about 10 seconds or so. 9 nails completely cut flush. I've got here the 1/16 that came in the kit, and this one here fits perfectly in that grout line. So all you have to do is just slot that straight in the groove, press the trigger, and then you can run that all the way down. I'm going to show you guys a bit of a close-up so that you guys can see exactly what's going on. that's it. That's all the effort that we need. So this time around we're cutting through plastic. As you can tell, it's fairly thick. It's about 6 millimeters in thickness. So this here is thicker than your standard PVC drainage pipe. And what we're going to be using is the saw blade. So just changing the blade just for the simple fact to show you guys how easy this is to cut through. And then I'm going to show you a nice trick with this one here. So you can see just how easy it cuts straight through that. So what I like about this tool is we can adjust the blade once again so that we make sure we don't cut through this top piece. If you're ever working in a tight corner where you need to cut just one side and not the other, we can do that with this blade. All you have to do is loosen this off, just halfway, and then we're going to twist that blade around. So we're going to get the angle, making sure that the side with no teeth is going towards the side that we don't want to cut, and the teeth here are pointed down. So we'll lock that into position. You can see there, brings a nice perfect cut all the way through up until the corner and doesn't create any damage up on top. This time around we've got some drywall or plasterboard sheets. This tool here works very, very well for cutting through here. Gone are the days where you need to use a saw to cut through this. This blade here not only cuts through very easy, it's very, very precise. It also creates a lot less mess. So let's get straight through this. Let's say we have to do a cutout for an electrical point. And that is so much easier to put that cut straight through. So once again with the saw blade, we can also make those plunge cuts. Nice and easy to cut straight through, or we can even use this to score a line straight through this and snap it. So there you have it, guys. That's just a few examples of what the Ryobi multi-tool can handle. It can do so many different tasks. Every day I'm finding new things to be able to use this tool on. It can tackle so many different materials, from timber, metal, plastic, plasterboard. It can take on so many different things. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. As always, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching. Bill's out too.